Now, let's get into the game of the week in college football, in my opinion. Tennessee is favored on the road in Oklahoma's first SEC game ever. They played a couple years ago when Baker Mayfield was the quarterback. Oklahoma somehow pulled that off. Tennessee, like I said, favored by 7. The over-under here is set at 57.5. Tyler, what do you have for us in this game?
Well, Oklahoma's pretty much dominated Tennessee over the past how many years? Because you got to go back to last time they played. What was that? 2016. I think it was actually 15. They beat them 31-24 in overtime in a situation. Tennessee dominated that entire game. Josh Dobbs made some critical errors in that late game. Butch Jones as well. And then the year before that, Oklahoma beat them by 30. And I believe, didn't they play? They may have played in the thousands as well, where Oklahoma beat them kind of considerably. I think in the early 2000s or something like that. But Oklahoma's kind of been that much better than Tennessee over the past couple, 20 years, until these past 2 seasons in which Tennessee is finally back. They're able to run the football. Here's the key to this game. If Tennessee is able to run the football in Oklahoma, which is going to be tough because Oklahoma has a really good defense, probably you could give Brent Venables a lot of credit for what he's done at Oklahoma, kind of flipped them to more of a defensive team. But Tennessee's offense is kind of gimmicky, no offense. And if they can't run the football, the chances of winning is limited. However, Jackson Arnold has not been good. He has been very, very bad for Oklahoma. If you look at the game that they scored 51 points against Temple, they were held under 400 yards against a very bad Temple team. They had 6 turnovers created defensively. Jackson Arnold played okay. Then the Houston game, what in the heck happened there? Jackson Arnold played terrible. He didn't look good last week in the second half against Tulane. Threw a terrible interception to their middle linebacker. It's just a crazy situation. I love Tennessee, though. I think Tennessee's a legitimate top 10 team, maybe even better. I think Tennessee's actually going to be able to throw the football a little bit more. With Brew McCoy, he might actually be the key on the outside there. I think this is a lower scoring game, but I love the balls. I think they're going to come on the road and stomp on Oklahoma. I think it's going to be a 27-10 type deal game here where Tennessee just beats Oklahoma on the line of scrimmage. And that's kind of what Tennessee has to do if they want to be a national championship style team. It's going to be a tough task going into Norman, but I love Tennessee. I'm actually betting on that 7. I love that 7. If I were to bet, I would bet on the 7 points here. I think Tennessee is just that much better than Oklahoma to go on the road in Norman, and Nico will have his best game of the season. I don't think he's going to be lighting up the world, but we saw that against NC State where he threw 2 kind of boneheaded interceptions. If he does that in this game, Oklahoma has a great shot at winning. I am not a big fan of Arnold. I don't think he's a good quarterback. I think he's actually one of the worst in the SEC. I like the Vols to win in a lower scoring game, 27-10 on the road.
Yeah, we're going to agree completely on this game. And I know people say, well, you're biased. You're a Texas fan. Yes, I do hate Oklahoma. But if I thought Oklahoma was going to win this game, guess what I like to be, guys? I like to be right. I do not think they're going to win this game. I don't think right now their offense is just completely lost. They're bringing in a whole new offensive line from last year. They have a guy out already from that. And then you have all these wide receivers missing, Nick Anderson, Jaden Gibson. I don't know if Nick Anderson's playing in this game. They definitely need him if he is going to play. Deion Burks is the only wide receiver at Oklahoma currently that is 100 yards receiving. That's not going to get it done in a game like this. Also, we talk about Ethan Garbers leading UCLA in rushing. Jackson Arnold is leading Oklahoma in rushing. That is bad, abysmal, terrible, whatever you want to call it. It's not good. Javonte Barnes is going to have to step up in this game for them to have a chance. The Oklahoma offensive line is going to have to play well above the way they played so far if they have a chance, because let me tell you, James Pierce only has 1 or 2 tackles on the year. If they don't play well, this is the type of game that NFL scouts will point to and say, damn, you remember when he had 3 to 4 sacks versus Oklahoma? Because that's what this could be, guys. This could be a race to the quarterback for those Tennessee edges, especially James Pierce. Jackson Arnold is mobile, but the thing is, he will throw you the football. Tennessee just has to catch it when he does. And that's going to be very interesting to see if he's got, to me, Oklahoma has a very narrow road to win this football game. They cannot turn the ball over, and they have to be physical at the point of attack on the offensive side of the ball with their offensive line versus the Tennessee defensive line. If they are not able to do that, this game's going to be very ugly. This kind of reminds me, I don't think it'll get this bad, but Michigan and Texas, because Michigan was so limited offensively, Oklahoma's they're not that bad, but they're in that realm of they don't really have that many weapons right now on the offensive side of the ball, and I don't know who's going to step up. Maybe Deion Burks does explode and have a really good game here, but I just don't see it. Tennessee's the only team in the country. I know they have a weak schedule, but they're the only team in the country and top 3 in points per game on offense and points per game on defense. I expect Tennessee to win this game pretty easily. I think it's close for a half, and then I think Tennessee just beats them up in the second half. I have Tennessee winning this game 37-17. I'm taking a blowout here. I think Tennessee is a top 5 team in the country. I think Oklahoma is somewhere in between right now, probably the 20 to 30 range, honestly. So I'm taking Tennessee -7. I'm taking the, I said 27. What did I say? 27.
You said 37-17?
37-17. Thank you. So I would take the under. It's 57 and a half. So that's 54 points. What was your score?
I had 27-10. That's only 37.
Okay, yeah. So
37.
You're way under. So yeah, we both take the under here, and we both take Tennessee. So we agree on that. So really, the only game we just completely disagree on is Florida Mississippi State. Everything else we line up on somewhere, the over under or the point total or the spread. I mean, Tony Montana saying Oklahoma wins.
Come on, Tony. We as SEC fans, we kind of have to humble at least one of the two, Oklahoma and Texas. Oklahoma's more vulnerable. They should be at least 2-1 right now. They kind of got bailed out in a situation in which Tulane
that safety
that too. They had, I guess, did they have that safety? But Tulane kind of. Oh yeah, the Houston, that was not a safety. But anyways, the Tulane situation, they kind of got in their own way. Same with Houston. If Oklahoma played a better non-con team, they probably would be 2-1 right now. Like, let's say they played maybe USC, they would definitely lose to USC, but maybe they would lose to Wisconsin. I don't know. To be honest with you, in my opinion, I don't think Oklahoma's a top 25 team. I wouldn't even have them in the top 30. They have an issue on their offensive side, and Sawchuk was extremely overrated coming into this season. And is he battling an injury? I think he is for Oklahoma. They can't really run the football because, Jackson Arnold can't throw. And when you can't run, you can't throw as well, especially with that type of offense. So I'm worried about Oklahoma in the SEC, and I think Tennessee is going to lay it down on them. Now, I was kind of conservative with my score total because I think Nico's going to make some mistakes, but it could get like the NC State game. And Tennessee hasn't given up an offensive touchdown, I don't think, all year. So
no, they haven't. They're only allowing 5 points a game.
Yeah, and Nico, against NC State, he threw 2 interceptions. That one was pick 6, the other one cost him 3 points, but he did get blown up, got destroyed at the line. So maybe you can give him a little leeway there, but he's also in his first year. I'm not trying to hate on Nico, by the way.
No,
I think
I
he's
understand.
really good.
Yeah, he's still learning. I mean, you can see that. But that's the thing, too. Like, Jackson Arnold's still learning, and you see what he looks like compared to Nico. So, night and day there. And I think I will say this. I like Jeff Lebby's up-tempo style because that does work. That killed Texas last year. They were exhausted when they played Oklahoma, and that caused us to lose at the end of the game, in my opinion. And I think Seth Luttrell coming over from North Texas, I think you're going to have to start going more up-tempo. I know that kind of seems counterproductive, but I think it would at least catch teams off guard because right now what you're doing is not working. It's just not working. You don't have the talent right now because of the injuries, and then you don't have the blocking up front with the offensive line. Maybe if you can tire out the defense on the other side, that can work a little bit.
Yeah, you're going to have to get Jackson Arnold out of the pocket, if we're being honest here. He is not a good pocket passer, and he kind of folds under pressure as well. In fact, him under pressure is actually one of the worst, I think, in the SEC. If you look based upon his pressure ranking, they showed a graphic on ESPN before that pick 6. Literally, the second before that pick 6, he was like 6 of 19 in the 19 pressure situations for 106 yards, a TD, and an interception. So he makes a good play or he makes a devastating play. And then he threw that pick six, which is hilarious timing right there by ESPN. But you're going to have to get him outside of the pocket. You're going to have to be able to run the football. And Tennessee's rush defense, really even last year, has been very consistently good. So I think this is an easy Tennessee pick. And I'm not high on Oklahoma either. So.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. I don't really think if Tennessee does blow out Oklahoma, I think it says way more about Oklahoma than it does about Tennessee, honestly, because you and I agree. I'm actually a little bit nicer on Oklahoma. I said 20 to 30. You have them outside the top 30. So they're just and Brett Venables, man, you put yourself on the hot seat by doing this because you kicked out Dylan Gabriel, who you knew was a good player.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a big Dylan Gabriel fan, but you knew what he was. He was a solid B overall quarterback, and you were hoping to get an A at quarterback for Jackson Arnold. And right now you're looking at probably a C minus. So that could have cost him his job there at Oklahoma. We'll see.
I mean, I forgot to say that about Dylan Gabriel. You mean to tell me you get rid of Dylan Gabriel and you're gonna, see similar, if not better, performances from Jackson Arnold? Dylan Gabriel's the most consistent quarterback in college football. You saw what he did 6 years ago, or I think it was five or 6 years ago at UCF. He has he might actually have 17,000 yards passing in his career already. He's probably going to break 20,000 this year. He's one of the best quarterbacks in college football, and he gets the most crap for it, and I don't really understand it. He's the most consistent quarterback in college football. Look what he did, like I said, at UCF and Oklahoma. Just crazy to me that you kick him out for Jackson Arnold. I get it. He has the 5-star talent, but still, if I'm an Oklahoma fan, I would have much rather have him sit another year and let Dylan Gabriel cook, because if this Oklahoma team had Dylan Gabriel, they probably would be top 10 for sure, in my opinion. They're a quarterback away from being a 9 or 10 win team this year.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting how that comes back to either haunt him or help him. We'll see. If we're wrong, it could help him. If we're right, it will haunt him, and it could cost him his job at Oklahoma. But it's going to be interesting.